Jai Baba, and
Jai
thank
Baba.
you, Angela, for inviting and giving me this opportunity to share my precious memories I always cherished with beloved Baba, and my loving Jai Baba to all the lovers, and special regards to Western lovers. And you may ask why Western lovers? So, in a Mandli's words, I will tell, after Baba dropped his body, and when all these Western people started flocking in, even the group which was supposed, which planned, and they didn't stop. And as per their plan, like Baba is there in the, when Baba was there in the physical body, the entire group from America, they came, and that was the darshan, mass darshan. So, and Mandli used to tell them that we have seen the human side of Baba, and now we see his divinity through you people. So all these Westerners, they have wonderful stories. They got his divine flashes, and we used to enjoy their stories. They means all over with their video cameras, and they started visiting Maharazad, Mehrabad, Hamirpur, Dehradun, Jabalpur, Nasik, all over. Like Baba is there, it doesn't mean to them that Baba is no more in the physical body. On the contrary, people in India, they were shocked. Oh, Baba has gone. Now, maybe they are used to living master or something like that. So, anyway, that was the trust and faith of the Westerner lover in Baba. And before I start, I will read a message from Baba. And before Baba dropped his body, he called Bhau, and he reminded him many times, remember, I am not this body. This is my coat. I wear it when I come amongst you. So I just going to read his message, and after that I will start the stories of my family and my memories with Baba. Baba said many times, he said, believe me, trust me, believe me, I am the ancient one. There is no doubt about it. I am not this body that you see. It's only a clock, time clock. I am infinite consciousness. I sit with you, play with you, and laugh with you. But remember, I am simultaneously working on all the planes of consciousness. I have before me the saints and valleys, and who are me in different forms. For I am the core center rooted in everyone and in everything. An infinite number of branches is spread out from me. It's I who work through you and suffer for you all. Understanding has no meaning. Love has meaning. And I know three things. I know three things I am the avatar in every sense of the word. Whatever I do is the expression of my unbounded love. I suffer infinite agony eternally through your ignorance. What is this agony? Our ignorance. We don't respond to his love. He loves us. But we are so much absorbed in Maya that we don't respond to his love. At least we can remember him every day and think of him all the time. What sustains me in my universal suffering is bliss plus my infinite sense of humor. The amusing incidents occur at the expense of none, lighten my burden. Therefore, always think of me, remain cheerful in all situations, and I am there to help you. That's the assurance. So it's so lovely, and every time I read it, yeah. So talking of trust and faith, Baba, beloved Baba appreciated my father, Sulu Das ji, and so I will read a quote from Lord Meher, how Baba appreciates his trust and faith in him. And Baba said that Sulu has not seen my real form, but he loves me and he has such a trust in me that I salute to that trust. So I will tell his story, and he compared him with Sudama. Like Lord Krishna, the childhood friend of Lord Krishna, poor friend, Sudama, Baba compared him. And I'm going to read it. Excuse me. Why did Krishna wash Sudama's feet and drink the water? Because of Sudama's love. He washed not the feet, but the love of Sudama and drank its waters. God always is, was, and ever will be. But the existence of God's great and true lovers like Sudama of Krishna, Sulu, and others now reflects God's true greatness. The greatness of their love is such that it creates faith in Master, whom the poor ignorant lover does not truly know at all. But because of firm faith, the follower is ready to give up his very life for the Master. Is not that greater than God? God is always greater in his infinity. But if lovers in finiteness rise to give up all sacrifice, their very lives just for love and faith in their beloved, whose true being they do not at all know, is indeed greater. That is why God, even in spite of his infinity, bows to the greatness in recognition of the spirit of selflessness that beholds in the love and faith of his true lovers. Yeah. So I will tell the story of his meeting to Baba, and first meeting to Baba, coming to Baba, very interesting, and a few anecdotes of Guru Prasad, and then my meeting with Baba at Guru Prasad. So, yeah, are you able to hear me? Hello.
Yes, Vijayji. Okay, Baba. We can hear you.
Yeah, Jai Yoga. Yeah. Yeah, that's my father in the court suit. And it is at Mehrabad. Actually, he settled at Jabalpur. So there are Jabalpur cow lovers. Raja Sagar here, Murli Kale is there. And Subedar is there. Mr. Muniraj is there. Yeah. So very dynamic group. In 1937, Norina Matchberry, uh, and he came she came to Nagpur along with Baba. There was darshan program. Norina Matchberry, you know her background and how from royal family and very rich lady, beautiful lady. She got everything in life. This is the word of her friend. She got everything in life. Still, she used to feel miserable. And until she joined Baba, she came to Baba. She was aspiring for the divine love. So she used to go around with Baba. And so when Baba visited Nagpur in 1937 December, and that was news in the paper and big news. And my father, he was that time 13 years of age, a young boy. He read that in the newspaper and he became restless to see Baba. The background of my father was that he had such a hobby for, not hobby, but he used to get into trance. And this young boy, little boy, in the classroom also, he used to get into the trance and meditation. So when he read about Baba, he went to RH's house to find out about Baba. That time RH was staying in Nagpur along with his family, Papa Jasawala, mother, and Gaimai, and uh, brothers, Marwan. And so when my father expressed his curiosity to RH and his father, they wrote to Baba. Baba that time was in Panchagani. And Baba, immediate answer came from Baba that, okay, send that boy to me at Panchagani. So the day came in April, excuse me, he started for Panchagani. RH came to railway station with his friend to drop this boy off. He brought 2 packets of oranges and gave him Baba literature and Baba's picture and all. And those days, there was no direct train from Nagpur to Ahmednagar. So via Kalyan, he has to travel. And this boy, when he came to Kalyan, while changing the train, his baggage went in the train because it was outer and he thought that it's a railway station. So when he got down with orange packets, he was holding the orange packets. And the meantime, he was taking his bag. The train moved. So and he was left with only orange packets. All his tickets and all money and all, everything was gone. He was really sad. By any means, he came to Pune. And from Pune, when he came out of his station, there was a bus waiting outside the railway station, some distance. He walked to this bus and he told the bus driver his story that how he lost the baggage and he has no money, and that he want to go to Meher Baba for his darshan. And coincidentally, this driver, he was working at Panchgani at Baba's Bangla and watering in the garden. And he later on he got a job of driver. So he believed his story, this boy's story. He said, yes, yes, I know Meher Baba. Yeah, come on. This bus is going there only, and I will drop you there. And he drops him off at Panchagani. So 3 o'clock he reached Pune, and around some 6 o'clock evening time, he reached Panchagani. And there Baba sent Jal Bhai, Baba's younger brother, with his car that go at the bus station. There is a boy waiting with orange packets, bring him here. So when my father reached there, he found somebody with a car, Jal Bhai, who asked him to, he didn't know him, but he came, he told him that Baba sent me, come on. And he put him into the car and took him to the bangla where Baba was staying. There he saw Baba was not there, but in the veranda, he sees Muhammad Mas and Adi's mother, Adi Kirani's mother. And so he waited there for some time. After some time, Baba comes and immediately he touches Baba's feet and gives him orange packets and then tells him his story. So Baba said, okay, lose everything, but don't lose me. And he asked Vishnu to take this boy to some restaurant, feed him, and make arrangements for his stay. So Vishnu master took him to nearby Gujarati lodge, and then he arranged, feeded him, and after that he arranged his stay in the nearby quarters. In the morning, when my father was taking his bath, he was in the bathroom. He just started the bath, and there was a knock at the door. And it was Gustaji who was keeping silence. He knocked, and so my father opened the door and said, Sulu, 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 Baba is calling you immediately. And when Baba calls, you have to go immediately. And so my father, he did not complete his bath, and like in a wet cloth, like underwear, he rushed to Baba's room and he stood before Baba with folded hands. Baba was sitting there in the hall with his disciples. And so when he saw this boy, Baba smiled at him with his simplicity and yeah, his wet body, underpants. And Baba asked him, what were you thinking last night? And this boy tells him, Baba, I was thinking about you all night, singing your some Sanskrit shlokas. And I was dreaming like meeting you in the naked. And so Baba was happy, and Baba told, fit for the path. Baba was very pleased. And at this age, 13 years age, Baba told him fit for the path. So then Baba kept him for 2 days. Baba knew that he has a meditation, flavor for meditation. So Baba asked him to meditate under a tree for 1 hour. Then Baba gave him some instructions, and those instructions were um, uh, not to, never to tell a lie, never to do any lustful action, never to eat meat, fish, and eggs, never to harass anyone, never give thought to lust, anger, greed, hatred under any situation, never smoke or take alcoholic drinks. Meditate 1 hour and 1 hour writing Om Parabrahm Baba daily. And then Baba asked him to keep in touch with him and write him letters regularly. And then, since Jal was going to Pune, so Baba asked uh, Jal Bhai to drop him at railway station, arrange for his ticket. Those days, the ticket was 9 rupees 80 paisa. So Jal Bhai dropped him at railway station by car, Pune, and he was departed. He was so happy, and when he came back to Nagpur, he went to RH's house, Papa Jasawala, and told him the story of meeting Baba. And then in 1941, he got a job offer from ordnance factory, Jabalpur. So as a clerk, so he moved to Jabalpur and joined this work. And from there, he kept in contact with Baba by letters. And in 1944, Baba called him at Nagpur. And Baba asked him to keep silence every Sundays. So he, and it was then he was there for a week with Baba, Savner and all. Baba took him along, and yeah. So then when he came back, he started observing silence, and it so happened that it was November 44, and he continued silence till January. He could not break the silence. And so then Baba, he was helpless to break the silence. So Baba called him at Maharajad, and so he was escorted to Maharajad. And but then there Baba asked him to break his silence. He said, I will send you to Himalayas back if you don't break your silence. So anyway, he broke the silence. And then in 1945, Baba called him at Jubilee Hills. And Baba asked him, Baba asked him to come prepare for 2 months. And so he went there. And Baba asked him, if you like to stay with me as a mandali. But did anyone object? Will your mother has to say anything? And he said, Baba, she may not permit me. Then actually, so Baba said, okay, then you go back. But then he also asked him, can you go begging for 2 hours, 2 years, all over begging for food? And then since he was, he had a job in defense, so he said, Baba, it is difficult for me. So Baba said, okay, you go back and start your worldly life, get married and do your worldly duties. So in 1946, he got married. Then Baba sent him telegram and say, I am there with you. Then in 1950, when Baba came out of new life for short time at Mahabaleshwar, Baba called him for 1 hour. So he went there. In 1951, I am born on 21st March 1951. In 1953, when Baba called him again at Nagpur, when Baba was visiting, and it was Barrister Verma's Bangla. So then as a baby, first time, I got his touch. I was 22 months. Baba touched my head, shook it, and blessings. I got his blessings. Uh, uh, Ramju, Ramju said to my father that Baba delayed his departure because you were late. So Baba was there waiting for Sulu. Uh, in 1954, my father wrote 1,000 copies of poetry, Bhajanawali, name Bhajanawali, and he sent 800 copies to Adike Irani, and 200 he kept with him. In 1955, Baba called him for the Sahwas. And I would like to read what some of the conversation is mentioned in Lord Maher. He was to be addressed as a boy fit for the path. So, yeah. And I will just read it. 45. Yeah. Anyway, Baba inquired that who could not sleep last night? And one of the Mauni Baba was also there. And he said that Baba, since Baba's instruction to withdraw his silence, what he was observing, Mauni Baba was observing the silence. And then Baba asked Mauni Baba to withdraw that silence and start talking. So this Mauni Baba was very much disturbed. So he could not sleep. And so Baba assured him that as long as you do, it doesn't matter whether you keep silence or not. As long as you do whatever I tell you, and whether you remain or silent or not doesn't matter. You should not worry and follow my instructions. My instructions are more important. Yeah. Then my father's turn comes. Sulu Meshram stood up and said, last evening I felt more or less of my surroundings, and for about 2 hours kept myself closet in the bathroom. I felt that some breeze from God was passing over me beyond birth and death. I completely forgot about my family and child, the child I left behind. In answering Baba's invitation to Mehrabad, I don't know whether the child is alive or dead. I still I heard sort of music, sweet smells yesterday, and I was seeing lights in front of my eyes. And that's why I could not sleep. So Baba motioned to him, oh, Sulu, Sulu is telling the truth. He has been in my contact since April 1938, when he was only 14. Since then, his love for me has increased. He has composed songs about me that are published in a book. Baba, however, then admonished him, whatever you experience, there is no need to tell others about your inner experiences. Listen carefully. When you get these instances, the ego gets tickled and you don't know it. I saw it was so wonderful. I felt so happy. And this magnifies the ego that I had this inner experience and all. It magnifies the ego. So all these inner experiences got to be concealed. Like if there is love, and if you let it slip out of your lips, you waste it. When you express it in words, you ruin it. Suppose you really love me, then you keep that love locked within you. If you let it out, it tantamounts to an insult. And I ask you of my own accord, you may explain, but do not talk at your own about your inner experiences. So that was a very profound message for us all, that if we get inner experiences and all, there is no need to tell. Actually, I feel for Baba, all are same. And he is the center pivot of the universe. For him, a perfect master, a sixth plane, or a fifth plane, third plane, or a lover who is ready for the path, they are all the same. As a matter of fact, Baba used to get work from a third plane mast better than fifth plane mast. He said, this third plane mast is very good. He's a good worker for me. So for Baba doesn't matter. So we are all, so even if some have experiences, flashes and all, just love. Love is important. Yeah. So then after this, in 1958 Sahwas, again Baba called him. And I will read some instances of 1950. In 1955, it so happened, he was, my father used to get into ecstasy in Baba's presence. And so once Baba took care of him, he was feeding him. And Baba told him, don't be like a must. Don't lose your consciousness. Try to retain your consciousness. Don't make a show. And then he made a duty of one person to take care of him. So he eats at the proper time and takes care of him. So that was the presence of Baba, that his love was so overflowing. And my father was so receptive of his love. Yeah. So what happened? One day he was waiting for Baba at Lower Mehrajad Road. And Baba was to come from Ahmednagar. And he got so absorbed in Baba's thoughts. So he started walking on the road towards city, Ahmednagar town. Meanwhile, Baba's car was coming. And on the way, Baba saw him. And Baba stopped the car and asked him, where are you going? Baba said, I was waiting for you. I wanted to see you. So Baba said, now how you will go back? So come on. Then Baba put him in the car and took him. So he was so much absorbed in him. In 1958, again he came for the Sehwas. Baba called him for the Sehwas. And Baba, so Murli Kale was also there. And Murli Kale, Jabalpur has such a blessing of Baba that all those dynamic people, Murli Kale, who was a new life companion of Baba, and he completed new life successfully. Very simple person. I just love him. Deshmukh, C.D. Deshmukh, what a scholar, but so simple, so down to earth. I saw him once he came to my house, and both my father and Deshmukh, they sat on a cot, and for hours they were talking. He just came by walking from bus stop, and so absorbed in. Murli Kale was also very down to earth. I really admire him, those great lovers. Professor Hajra was there. He was another charisma. He tested Baba 150 times, his divinity, my God. And Baba, Baba said, don't do it. I will crush your body. I will pulverize your body. And of course, Baba made him suffer like anything. But he was very charismatic, and we used to spend time in his company, evening, Baba Lover's company. So then I'm telling you about 1958. So Murli Kale, who had recently gotten married, Baba observed, now that you are married, you will have a family and will have to look after all the resultant difficulties. So Murli Kale Murli Kale has a son, Niket Kale. He is still there. He is now 65 and he runs that trustmeher.com. Very and he married to Pankraj's daughter Meera Kale. And another great person, Mr. Pankraj, he was my neighbor, and is the Pankraj who told Bhau about Baba. And then what happened? Pankraj, when Bhau came for Baba's darshan, so Baba was talking about obedience, and Pankraj tells Baba that Baba, Bhau should know what obedience is. And Baba tells Pankraj, Bhau knows better than you. So Pankraj kept quiet. So anyway, those were the days. And so Baba, Murli had been a student in the Meher Ashram since 1927. His father Kale Mama, then Murli Kale, and was among the Mandli who had accomplished Baba in the new life. With Baba's permission, he had moved to Jabalpur. So Niket Kale has also two daughters. One is settled in Pune, another is in Florida. Yeah, and beautiful sisters and very good singers. Pankraj's daughter Meera Kale got married with Niket Kale. She's also very good singer. So yeah, nice Baba family. So then Baba, my father requested Baba to visit Jabalpur, and Baba actually promised him also. Yes, he will come. And then if I were to go to, then Baba said, if I were to go to Jabalpur, Deshmukh could say, Baba, Nagpur is not far from here. And then there would be no end to the traveling. I might have promised during the 1955 Sehwas. Baba promised my father in 1955 Sehwas that he will visit my house and he will come to Jabalpur. He put some conditions, and accordingly, my father started preparation with Raja Sagar Kher and Muniraj and Pankraj and yeah. But then then Baba, when all the preparations were made, then Baba cancelled it. Baba said he will come after 700 years if Jabalpur is still there. And so my father was really very sad. And he might have asked, "Oh, Baba, you have not kept your promise." And so that Baba says to him, in 1955 Sahwas, to visit, I might have promised during the 1950 Sahwas to visit different places, but I am beyond all promises. God is beyond all promises. He is not bound to our worldly system. Uh, yeah, and our system. So whether I break one promise or 100, it's the same. Baba, however, assured my father that when Baba came back after 700 years, if Jabalpur is still there, he would visit. Yeah. So definitely the divine will is above illusion. Yeah. Divine will is the supreme. Yeah, that governs the law. Uh, mm. Then the Pakistanis were called. Baba chatted with the long-time lovers, Meenaksh, Adi, Roda, Dubash, Adi, and Dolly Arjani, and others. Baba, at 2 p.m., Baba called about 50 persons, which included some of the Mandali. Each was given a copy of Life Circular 37, Baba's reminder, where Baba's 4 orders appeared, including the one to desist from any lustful action for 6 months. Baba freed Murli Kale and Ali Ramju, who was recently married, from the condition, and also Sam Kerawala, who was to marry in March of that year. Murli Kale used to write copious amounts of couplets and send them to Dr. Nilu, so much so that Nilu had also taken up the hobby. Baba asked him to recite a poem, and after much thought, Murli began, "Wonderful is the effect of the wine that permeates the Jabalpur air." Jabalpur air. Jabalpur, near Jabalpur, there is a place known as Mandala, and it's around 70 miles. And Baba asked Papa Jasawala to make a replica of the Samadhi. So in 1935, Papa Jasawala, he created that replica. It's still there. And in now in some 6-7 years back, Jav Bhai went there to Jabalpur and Pavala. And yeah. Anyway, so that's the 58 Sahwas story. In 1959, excuse me, my father could not go for the Guru Prasad Darshan Sahwas. So Baba sent him a 2-page telegram, and that I would like to read. And this telegram is from signed by Adike Rani and sent on June 25, 1959. I have been wanting to write you, my dear Sulu, I have been wanting to write to you since a number of days. Somehow it was not possible to do so for 2 reasons. I was busy running up and down between Nagar, Pune, Mahabaleshwar, and Bombay. Also, I was feeling indisposed. The last 3 months, we have been having considerable activity during Baba's stay in Pune and sometime in Bombay. Baba stayed in Bombay from 7th to 15th March. This gave an exceptional opportunity to his lovers to have his darshan, which he permitted daily morning between 9 to 12 during his stay there. There were hundreds of new faces coming in, amongst them being some eminent persons like ex-governor of UP, Munshi, ministers and officials. Baba also invited while in Bombay at St. George High School, Dadar, and NSD Blind Home at Worli, where he saw hundreds of inmates, embraced them and gave them prasad. February and March, Baba had kept open everything every morning, 9 to 12, for devotees to go and see him. In Pune, many persons from and far near got the advantage of his darshan. From beginning of April up to 7th June, Baba permitted people to see him only on Sunday morning. Those coming to know of this did not miss the opportunity of seeing him. Every Sunday we used to see batches of lovers coming over to Pune from Andhra, Hamirpur, Dehradun, Nagpur, Calcutta, etc. And the resident Mandali there and I, a frequent visitor, talked among ourselves, remembering you and expecting you anytime to drop in. On Sunday, there were bhajans and kavalis, and the lovers had the opportunity of basking in the sunshine of Baba's love for a few hours. Every Sunday, we raised our eyes to see you, but found that you were not there. Maybe you were busy or that some work did not permit you to snatch a few days away from your occupation and come to Pune. At least we did expect you on 7th June, which was the last Darshan Sunday. On this day, nearly 4,000 persons gathered at Guru Prasad from far and near, and I'm sure that they spent the happiest moment of their lives in Baba's company for a few hours. We would have been too happy to have seen you there. I'm sure Baba would have been the happiest. Now there are no more Sundays through Baba will be staying in Pune till the end of July. He is then expected to return to Maharaja, Pimpalgaon, unless there is some other program. He knows from 7th June to end of July, Baba has and will be intensely occupied in his inner universal spiritual work. He's constantly been exhorting us not to disturb him in any way. During Baba's recent stay in Pune, we witnessed a sudden and very miraculous change. With all the pain, Baba as in the hip joint, we never expected that this would come about. Baba on his own began walking a few steps without the aid of sticks. He's doing so every day, increasing the distance of walk as abruptly as this. Baba remarked that world events may take a change for the fulfillment of the divine will, about which he has been time and again. I hope this finds you and your dear ones happy and healthy. Wishing you as ever love, blessing of the beloved of beloveds, and with loving regards, yours brotherly Adi Kairan. So when so it was a talk of the post office also, such a long telegram those days. And so my father decided to come for the 1960 Guru Prasad Darshan program. And he planned to take me along. I was 9 years old then in 1960. And I had already few experiences about his godhood, and uh, and I used to attend his meetings. I used to go to the mosque along with him on the bicycle. Whenever Baba asked him to contact the nearby mosque, I went along with him. And like Thantanpal Baba, there were mosques near Jabalpur, Makka Shah, and some one or two mosques. So, I used to attend all the Baba programs. I have seen the movie Sant Gyaneshwar and Tukaram. So, and my father may put me in the music schools. He wanted me to learn music. So, and bhajans and all. And I had one incident happened where we used to stay in a defense area, and near my house there was a there was a dargah. That dargah is still there. We went there for some few years back. Everything is destroyed now. All her houses are, it's forest. It has become forest. And I used to play always as a boy around this dargah. Very nice. People used to come and ask, fulfill their demands were fulfilled. And some Muslim saint, some peer was there. Yeah. So one day, so happened that my father was very strict, very disciplinarian, and I used to fear him a lot. And I got good beatings from him also. So anyway, he was like a Jalali. And of course, all his beatings and all, it's a blessing I feel. And I feel so nice. Yeah, I enjoy. So uh, I locked the house and I just playing. And during my play, I lost the key. And then it was time to return home. So 5 o'clock, the entire afternoon I was playing. And I used to play like these seven tiles and those. Baba used to play those games, so I was very fond of those games in my childhood. So yeah, these were only the great games we used to play. So when I could not find the keys, and I was really scared because me and my father, they were only in the house. And so I was scared. I said, now my father will come and he will now rains, the cloud also, the rains also started. So I went to that dargah and I prayed him, oh, please help me, Baba, Baba, please help me. And immediately the effect of the prayers, immediately I started walking. I started walking some 100 feet. And then I entered in like a robot. And then I entered in a house straightway. And I asked that person, he was a Bihari person, seeing. I, uncle, have you got any keys, bunch of keys? He said, yes, yes. Yeah, these are the keys I got. Is it yours? I said, oh, yes. And I just came, ran to my house. I opened it. And, but then, of course, this was a incident. But later on, I thought, my God, my prayers and somebody is there on the inner plane and they how they could direct me like that, and how first thing that he has checked my keys where it is lying, then who picked it, then he directed me. What a power, that inner world are really. So that was a nice experience. And of course later on we knew that there are, Baba told us, subtle world is there, mental world is there, and then the glory of God. From the mental world, one can see the glory of God, directly see. So the soul has advances and he has to go through all these planes of consciousness. So maybe he was stationed on some planes, who knows, but that was a nice help. So anyway, so I knew that Baba is God. So it was when we 60 summer program, I was really excited. The day came and we left by train. In the train, I was thinking of Baba's thoughts only, that how I am going to see him, meet him. And at Pune, my father stayed at his friend's house at Ganesh Kind, again the same defense colony. And on 8th April, we came by bus from Ganesh Kind to Guru Prasad. And we were 8 o'clock. Actually, the program starts from 7:30. Only the invitees, it was not a general darshan. And so the first day, and I was so curious. In the Guru Prasad, we entered in the Guru Prasad Bangla, and I came to know that Baba is sitting in this room and he is giving darshan family wise. He's calling each person individual darshan. And meanwhile, our turn comes. I was so restless. And I just kept walking to and fro near Baba's room. And when I could not manage to get his glimpse, I saw there was a window in the room, and I came near the window. There was shutter, and so I raised the wooden shutter, and it was so I could peep in now. I saw, I peeped in, and it was Baba's face, side face, and Arach's back towards me, and Baba was talking to somebody, and I got so absorbed in Baba's face watching. And after some time, I felt a pressure on my collar, and somebody pulled my collar, and I just turned my face, and it was Arch. And he was so angry, and he was such a service to Baba that he really means he was so sensitive and so sincerely following Baba's taking care of Baba that he was really got angry, and he said, "This is the way you are peeping into Baba's room. Whose son you are?" And he was really, I said, "Close the window," and he was about to slap me. And I was really very sad, frightened. I freezed. I didn't know what to do. There was a passerby, another lover, and he closed the shutter. And Eric says, he opened it again. No, get him, let him close the window. He should not have done like that. And I closed the shutter. I was really very sad with sinking heart. I was waiting, very sad. And after some time, Arach again comes back, and then he kisses me, loves me. Probably Baba might have sent him back. He loves me, kisses me, and he should not have done like this and that. And then he knew that I'm Sulu's son. And so then I was relieved. I felt relieved. But that was my first encounter with Araj. And then later on, really, it was so lovely being with Araj. And yeah, he was like a big brother always. And I still miss him very much. Then Baba's nephews, Rustam Sohrab, they used to be by Baba's side. And then whoever Baba used to call, they come out and calling his name. So Rustam came running out without wasting time. Sulu, 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 Baba was calling. And we were just waiting without wasting a moment. We just entered inside the room, and that Baba embraced my father and asked him, "Why didn't you come on 5th June?" And Baba said, "I could not get leave." 10,000 people at Baba's darshan, and Baba is asking him that, "Why didn't you come on 5th?" So that was his love for him. And Baba cared for each and every lover. Yeah, so okay. And I was watching his face, looking at Baba's face, and something was going on in my mind. And I asked Baba, "Baba, I get scared in the darkness." Baba looked at me and asked, Erich, yes, told, "Do you take Baba's name?" And that thought came in my mind that time. Oh my God, he's God. And I cannot take lie to him. I never took his name. Uh, And so I said, no, Baba, like this, no. And Baba looked at me, said, take my name. And that is such a dynamic instruction. Oh, take my name. And it is every day I remember, I cherish those memories. Take my name. And it's for everyone. Take my name. Yeah, his name is so powerful. Otherwise, if we don't remember him, he suffers. Uh, that is our ignorance. So we spent some 4 days at Guru Prasad, and next day Baba said, "Okay, tomorrow you come at 7:30 sharply." And then he asked my father, "Where you are you staying?" Baba said, "Ganesh Kin." Baba said, "Oh, that's too far. You can stay at RHS house if you, Vindra house, if you like." Baba said, "No, my friend has made already arrangements for me, Baba." So then next day we came at 7:30 sharply. And then Baba said, "We'll go for house visit." So that Baba in the front car and we are in the backside car, and we had a nice time going to for a house visit. Baba visited a orphanage also, and then came back at 10 o'clock. So these 4 days, Guru Prasad days in 1960 was such a memory, and there were few instances I cannot forget, and I always visualize like sitting by Baba's sofa, his left side, and Baba is playing cards, some 15 people, 16, 15 people, and when they lose, they have to rub their nose, and Baba teasing them, and such a fortune, great fortune, rubbing their nose in front of the Lord. And I was not included in the game. So I just kept a call bell was there when Baba needed anything. So I was just playing with the call bell. I just grabbed the call bell, I just pressed it. And the attendant comes. Baba says, "No, no, I didn't call you." And again, I press the switch, again playing. And he comes again. And then Baba says, "Look, to RH." And they caught me holding the button and says, RH says, "Chanchal." Of course, there was no any unhappiness from Baba. But, say, and I just moved. Then one day I saw Baba. I always used to focus on Baba. And so one day I saw Baba entering into a small room. And Baba was just alone. And I was playing, and when I saw Baba entering into that room, I also followed him. And inside the room, Baba was there. And there was an artist who was making Baba's sculpture, this bust. That was in probably Mr. Deshmukh, Dr. Deshmukh. He called that sculpture artist for making Baba's bust. So he was making Baba's bust, and Baba looking at his own bust, and he was doing like this. And I was there in that room with Baba, looking at his neck and looking at the bust. He did not mind my presence, like he allowed me to be with him in that very precious moment with the Lord in solitude. And I always cherish those moments. One day, Baba came on veranda along with the Mandali. Everybody came on the outside veranda. There was a dead body procession was going in front of Guru Prasad. And Baba came outside and there was a pin drop silence. Baba watching that procession. And like Baba is looking so deep, like 1,000 years. He is looking into that deep silence. I was playing there. I came, I was like doing this, like, whoo. And then everybody told me, shh, Baba. And when I saw Baba, I just freezed. And Baba, then suddenly Baba turns his face and he looks at me with a child's curiosity, so innocent, and his face. Baba has that innocence of even the children don't have. That was a kind of innocence, and I still remember that look, his nazar, looking at me in curiosity, beautiful. And then Baba used to sit in a room, ask people to, lovers to sing one by one. One day Baba asked my father to sing, and he sang some bhajan, and then some other guy, he sang bhajan. Then Baba asked Deshmukh, I remember very well. So Deshmukh kept, and as soon as Baba asked him, and he goes like, ah, and Baba is laughing. And Baba enjoyed his song. Like, now I feel Deshmukh, of course, he's not a singer, but he entertained Baba so much that Baba laughed and laughed and laughed. So that matters, that you make Baba happy, whether you're talented or not. But it was from the heart, and so that was it. I saw Irwin Luck also in those days, and that was also a talk that how this boy ran away from home and uh, came to see Baba. So I got to see him also. And see, uh, uh, Baba is inspiring a poor boy from distant town from Nagpur, and Baba is inspiring a boy from New York also. So see, his omnipresence all over, whomsoever he want, he can call him. It is not that we are his lovers or we are going to him. No, no, whomsoever he inspires to come, they only come to him. Of course, he is for all, but only few, selected ones. So, yeah. So that way we are so fortunate. And in 19, so then Baba asked my father to go on 11th June, go back home and observe silence for a week. And same day, Irwin Luck was also deported. He asked him to go back. He was also there for some 19 days. Yeah. And it was such a nice time, quality time. And those Guru Prasad days, Baba was like a head of a family. It was not like that you have to do some meditation or some mystic discipline. He was like a head of a family member. In real sense, he was the head of the family, and he only loved. He eating, singing, playing, joking, and really how much he cared for everyone, his lovers. If you see, there is no parallel example how he served lepers, how he served musk, we never knew, the world never knew what is God intoxicated and what is mad. First time he contacted all those, and it is not just for publicity, but he went incognito, like at Nagpur midnight. He waited outside the mosque hut for 1 hour, midnight, 2 o'clock. And Mast was so shy, he closed him. But then he opened after 1 hour. Then Baba gets inside the hut and works with him. And what a patience, what a love for those God intoxicated souls. And like that, thousands of musts he contacted, and tremendous labor. And then he didn't stop there again, he left Nagpur. So thousands of sadhus at Kumbh Mela, he's going down, he's touching them. So only the God Almighty, the highest of high, only can do. And at the other side, all these beautiful Western ladies who gave up all these worldly materialistic things, they joined him. Amazing. So that, oh, sorry, I'm the time wise, how I am? Is it I'm exceeding the time?
And you gave us an opportunity
Uh-huh.
to clarify things which would not have occurred to us.
Okay, thank you.
So probably you have gave me a chance to equip myself with certain answers a man sometime, another scientist may ask me at any time in the future. So I'm thankful to you. There is no suffering at all.
Uh-huh.
It's a greater joy of understanding things.
Okay. Actually, how, because I have to sing some songs also, so how much time I got?
This is sort of the same type of thing that Bob was talking about, that we had discussed
You have time, Vijayji.
a couple weeks ago.
Please go
Okay.
ahead.
Talking about what happens.
So can I continue another 10-15 minutes and then sing some couple songs? Is it okay?
Yeah,
Is it okay?
Yes.
yeah, yeah. We
Yes.
have time up to like 2 o'clock.
Yeah. So no, I have no problem, comfortable. Jai Baba. Yeah. So yeah, in then 62, I had another chance to join the East-West gathering, and in the East-West gathering there were thousands of people, and so many Westerners, 5,000 people, and there it was not easy to meet him personally. And in the first day, I remember in the pandal, thousands of people, and I stood on a chair to get his glimpse on the stage. And Baba comes on the stage. First day, he waves to the crowd, and I was in tears, tears flowing from my eyes. And I was 11-year-old. I didn't know why I am crying. Now I understand, of course. So, and then it started raining. My God, such a cats and dogs. And but people didn't move. It was so magnetic, so dynamic, his presence, all drenched with that divine blessing. And we stayed, we were wet and just observing Baba on the stage. So those memories I remember. In 63 also I had chance. And then finally in 69, when Baba dropped his body. And so it was a radio news given by my neighbor, and I was shocked. I came to Baba's picture and I started crying because we heard like this that Baba will break his silence and he is God, and manifestation. There was so much talk about all this. So, but then I was praying to him and I said, Baba, whether you're God or not doesn't matter to me. I love you. I love you. And I want to come to your last darshan. And I had no money, nothing. So a friend of my father's, when he heard from me, he said, yeah, he has a railway pass. He can offer to me. And so we both, and he took me along with him. So I had Baba's darshan on the second or third day in the pit. It was very subdued environment, and not many people. Maybe that time, maybe 100 or so. And then every day they crowd till seventh day. It was the crowdest. So crowded, yeah. And then that phase was over. So then after that, the another phase was with the Mandali. Actually, in 1968, Baba called a meeting also in November, and his health was very feeble. And some Mandali member, Padri, told him, Baba, this is the time to close the shop. And Baba said, no, now my shop is opening. And then after he dropped his body, and then we see all people from the West and all having these divine glimpses, their stories, their psychic experiences and all. They are all started flooding in. And Baba once said that his name will come from the West to East. So people with the cameras and videos and they are asking stories, and we were surprised. Oh, what happened to these Western people? They are also, we were very curious. Like Irwin, Irwin Luck with his videos, and so many, Hugh Flake and Keith Gunn, and yeah, I remember those people. So then we started visiting Mandali. And the time with the Mandali was really, they conveyed Baba's message and the love we received. It was really, I have never seen in my life such lovely people, great people. And so I was inspired to meet all the Baba lovers who met Baba. So in India, I I started meeting Nagpur, Hamirpur, here, Jhansi. I went to many places and hearing their stories, it was really touching. And then then seeing these Western people coming to India and their reaction, I also felt like I must visit the Myrtle Beach when I heard Baba has a center at Myrtle Beach, and many places they have centers. So I went to Adi Kairani, and Adi says, yes, yes, yeah, you should go. And so then when first time I came to Myrtle Beach, 1978, and met Elizabeth Patterson, Kitty Devi, Jane Haynes, Darwin Shaws, Murshida Dews, I met, and it was Jean Adriel, I met, Phyllis Frederick, Adele Volken, uh, so wonderful ladies, means what a personality and lovely people. So other than God, nobody can handle such people. And he's the highest of the high. Yeah. In 1978, when I first time went, I had this experience also. At John Hopkins Medical College, there was a student named Sufi student, Todd Wabati. So he invited me to his dorm, and I stayed in his dorm for a night. And the next day, he took me to the professor. And at the same time, the news comes of his winning the Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine. It was Professor Daniel Nathan, who won Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine for identifying the cancer-producing protein. So, and then I had champagne with him, and then the press reporters came and they asked my reaction. And I say, I came to visit Meher Baba Center, and it is a coincidence that I got to share champagne with Professor Daniel Nathan. So Baba put me and my Sufi friend in such a situation that I enjoyed those moments also. And yeah, I should. Then there are so many stories with the Mandli. I will tell you sometime. But maybe right now I quit.
There is no mass. So one has to be
Hello.
sincere. One has to be honest. For the sake of satisfying only his carnal desires, to make someone, some woman, a victim of him is not desirable from the spiritual point of view. From the material point of view, man may do anything what he likes. And he can go to the dogs also, we don't bother. But if you talk about spirituality and the standards, so in order to give vent only to his sex, then he can't go on taking a person after person.
I guess Prakash Garu's audio or laptop audio is on. We were not able to hear him. You can continue, Vijay. Vijayji. Deva.
Can you repeat it? Okay. Okay. So I will. Shall I sing some bhajans?
Yeah, sure. Yes, Vijayji.
Okay. So I would like to sing a ghazal. Actually, Baba liked the ghazals. And this is a very powerful ghazal, you must have heard. But it is such a powerful ghazal. अब क्या बताऊं मैं तेरे मिलने से क्या मिला, इरफान गम हुआ मुझे दिल का पता मिला. And written by Simog. And Baba gave liberation to him. So what a guy! I really means surprised that they have such knowledge, divine knowledge, and he really deserved it. And such a powerful ghazal. Ab kya bataun main tere? What shall I tell you? What I got meeting after you? I got the address of. I came to know about my heart, where my heart is. And I will just read the meaning before I start. And yeah. Excuse me. What do I say? What have I achieved after you have entered into my life? I have realized what pain is. Dard. Till we have pain, we don't know where heart is. I have, and then these poets are though addicted to that pain. They get addicted to that pain, and they say, "Oh, that dard, that pain." They miss it. Yeah. So I have achieved my goal. मंजिल मिली, मुराद मिली, मुद्दुआ मिला, सब कुछ मुझे मिला जो तेरा नक्शफा मिला. I have achieved my goal. My desires has been fulfilled, and I have accomplished the purpose of my life. I have got everything as I followed your footprints. I met the one who is the self in all, who is all-knowing and self-manifesting, one who is aware of his real status and reveals it for others to know. What I found in the human form was indeed God himself. इंसा के भेष में मुझे अक्सर खुदा मिला. why the so-called seekers of God are disappointed. Why the so-called seekers of God are disappointed and experience गुजरा जो मैं, क्यों ये खुदा के ढूंढने वाले हैं नामुराद, गुजरा जो मैं खुदी से खुदा मिला, and futility of experience, futility of search. As I transcendent limitations of my limited self, I could find the self, the God in all. For his entire life, Sima, the writer, the poet, was restless and disconnected. Even when he found his beloved, he got nothing but the too familiar sorrow, dard. He got the sorrow, but that sorrow is so intoxicating, got addicted. Yeah. So, yeah. And then after that, addiction to pain, then the union is the final. So I will use karaoke mic for little music. Forgive me for a little disturbance. And yeah.
The Bluetooth device is ready to pair. Bluetooth.
Is the अब क्या बताऊं मैं, अब क्या बताऊं मैं, तेरे मिलने से क्या मिला, अब क्या बताऊं मैं, तेरे मिलने से क्या मिला, इरफान गम हुआ मुझे, इरफान गम हुआ मुझे, दिल का पता मिला, अब क्या बताऊं मैं। मंजिल मिली, मुराद मिली, मुद्दवा मिला, मंजिल मिली, मुराद मिली, मुद्दवा मिला, मंजिल मिली, मुराद मिली, मुद्दवा मिला, सब कुछ मुझे मिला, सब कुछ मुझे मिला, जो तेरा नक्शा मिला, अब क्या बताऊं मैं, तेरे मिलने से क्या मिला, खुद बिन जो खुद शनास मिला, खुद नुमा मिला,
खुद नुमा मिला, इंसान के भेष में मुझे, है इंसान के भेष में मुझे अक्सर खुदा मिला। अब क्या बताऊं मैं, क्यों ये खुदा के ढूंढ में वाले हैं नामुरा, क्यों ये खुदा के ढूंढने वाले हैं नामुरा, गुजरा जो मैं हुजूरे, गुजरा जो मैं हुजूरे, खुदी से खुदा मिला। अब क्या बताऊं मैं, इमाम को शगुफना देखा तमाम उम्र, सीमाब को शगुफना देखा तमाम उम्र, कम वक्त जब मिला हमें, कम वक्त जब मिला हमें, गम आशिना मिला। अब क्या बताऊं मैं तेरे मिलने से क्या मिला, इरफान गम हुआ मुझे, दिल का पता मिला। अब क्या बताऊं मैं। जय बाबा। Another song I'm going to sing. Can I sing another song?
Yeah, sure, Vijayji. Please.
So now, yesterday was Bhauji's anniversary. So I sing a song written by Bhauji, as a tribute to him. तड़पा किए हैं रात दिन, अब छोड़ के आराम हम, बेचैन कितने हो गए, अब लेके तेरा नाम हम। Yeah. The meaning of the song is, "Oh Meher, I am restless day and night, leaving my rest behind by taking your name. I have become useless to the world. And when I become useless to the world, I become useful for you. Day and night I am restless. Why are not you coming closer to me? Even my enemies are envying me, seeing my condition. But, Meher, you are so, my enemies are crying to see my condition, but Meher, they have no compassion on me. तड़पा किए हैं रात दिन, तड़पा किए हैं रात दिन, अब छोड़ के आराम हम बेचैन इतने हो गए, बेचैन इतने हो गए, अब लेके तेरा नाम हम तड़पा किए हैं रात दिन। जग में निकम्मे हो गए, जग में निकम्मे हो गए, तेरी मोहब्बत के लिए काम के अब हो गए, काम के अब हो गए, जब हो गए बेकाम हम तड़पा किए हैं रात दिन। हम हैं तड़पते रात दिन, हम हैं तड़पते रात दिन, तुझको दूर देख के हम हैं तड़पते रात दिन, तुझको दूर देख के तू पास जब आता नहीं, तू पास जब आता नहीं, तो कब करे आराम तड़पा किए हैं रात दिन। बैरी हमारे रो रहे, बैरी हमारे रो रहे, बैरी हमारे रो रहे, देख कर भाव दशा, उसको दया आती न अब, उसको दया आती न अब, जिसका भी लेते नाम हम तड़पा किए हैं रात दिन, अब छोड़ के आराम हम बेचैन इतने हो गए, अब लेके तेरा नाम हम तड़पा किए हैं रात दिन। जय बाबा। थैंक यू।
Jai Baba. That was it.
जय बाबा।
Whole singing, Vijayji.
Shall I quit it here? Baba?
I think continue. Sorry to interrupt. You can continue, Vijayji.
I think maybe if anybody has any question or anything, we can have some 5-10 minutes chat, or then I can sing or whatever you feel okay.
Yeah. We did ask the audience about questions, but so far we didn't see anybody raising their hands. So why don't you continue? And if anybody has questions, they'll ask you.
It looks like the heart is working. So since heart is working, the questions are finished, and the real lovers of God. Okay, I sing another song. Oh, my wife is directing me from the back. She's a good director. Thanks for this Pune program tonight. I will sing a Huma ghazal and Baba. So yeah, I will use इसको हटा. The song is written by beloved Baba by the name Huma, and it is dedicated to the Upasni Maharaj. And he's asking to his Guru, मेरे सवाल का गुरु कुछ तो जवाब दो. Guru, please answer something to my question. Whatever mistakes happened, give me some explanation. Sweet bird says in separation, you always give thorns. Please give roses also sometime. Please fill up this glass with wine. What shall I do with empty glass? Huma's state is masti, ishq ki masti, intoxication. Please bestow some grace on me. Yeah. So that was when Baba used to write during 19 Pasni Maharaj. He was 4 or 5 years intoxicated.
Vijayji, we are not able to hear you.
Hello?
Now
Are
we
you
are.
able to?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, Baba. मेरे सवाल का गुरु मेरे सवाल का गुरु कुछ तो जवाब दो मेरे सवाल का गुरु कुछ तो जवाब दो क्या गफलतें मुझसे हुई थोड़ा हिसाब दो मेरे सवाल का गुरु कुछ तो जवाब दो बुलबुल जुदाई में तुम्हें कहती है ए गुरु ही दे रहे हो, कांटे ही दे रहे हो, कभी तो गुलाब दो। जो गफलतें मुझसे हुई, थोड़ा हिसाब दो। मेरे सवाल का गुरु कुछ तो जवाब दो। ताकिए जाऊं मैं सरीन में, इश्क से भर दो। ताकिए जाऊं मैं सरीन में, इश्क से भर दो। खाली पियाला क्या करूं, खाली पियाला क्या करूं, अब तो शराब दो। क्या गफलतें मुझसे हुई, थोड़ा हिसाब दो। मेरे सवाल का गुरु कुछ तो जवाब दो। हंसती हूँ माँ, हंसती हूँ माँ की अज़्म में जवां, इश्क की मस्ती, मस्ती हूँ माँ, मस्ती हूँ माँ, मस्ती हूँ माँ की हमने जवां, इश्क की मस्ती। कहता हूँ पुरगुनाह हूँ, कहता हूँ पुरगुनाह हूँ, कुछ तो शबाब दो। क्या गफलतें मुझसे हुई, थोड़ा हिसाब दो। मेरे सवाल का गुरु कुछ तो जवाब दो। मेरे सवाल का गुरु कुछ तो जवाब दो।
Yeah, again, beautiful song,
Wonderful
Vijay.
singing.
Really.
So how things are going?
We don't see anyone raise their hands for any questions. Um, you able to continue with the song? You can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Enjoy.
Meherchan Nuri.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Nuri.
Hey, Jai Baba
Anything?
Vijay.
Jai
I sing a
Baba,
song
yes.
every day in the morning aarti. I want you to share your experience with Hajra, Pankraj, and Hajra, Pankraj, and Khaliji. your with association with Murli Kale especially.
Yeah,
Your
Kale.
your experience with Pankraj, then with Hazra and Murli Kale. You can sing every day 2 bhajans in the Aarti, but we can't share your experience of Murli Kale, Pankraji, Professor Azra, and Kher
Yeah.
family. Please.
Kher family from Nagpur. Of course, I'm
Nagpur
from
Kher family.
Jabalpur.
Then you have Azra from Jabalpur, Kale from Jabalpur.
Yeah, Murli Kale. And I have to gather those stories. What Professor Hajra, we used to spend many evenings with him. He was a very jolly person, professor at college, girls' college. So we used to tease him also a lot. And he has written books like Memoirs of Zetetic. And he was charismatic in the sense that there were many visitors to him. And his house was always full with 15, 20 people. And sometime some very dignified people also, some politicians also. And so we used to enjoy their reactions also. And Baba, once he thought that he will leave everything and go to Bheda Ghat. Bheda Ghat is a beautiful place, and Baba visited that place in 1938. And then his mother reported to Baba, Baba, this man has gone to Bheda Ghat and he's not, he's want to leave the world. And so then Baba called him to Maharazad. And then Baba asked him, do you really want to leave the world? So then he says, yes, Baba. But before that, can you do the thing I ask you? And he says, yes, Baba. So then Baba asked him, oh, there is a leper lady there in the leper, and she's very, means, very dirty. Baba is describing like she has a disease and all this. And in actual, when Baba was telling him, so he got scared and he said, go and sleep with him, with her. And so Professor Hajra got scared. He said, oh, Baba, tell me something else. And I can't do that. And then Baba said, okay, you take off all your clothes and become naked. And then from here, you buy a ticket and go back to Jabalpur, completely naked. Can you do that? Professor Hajra said, no, Baba, I can't do that. I'm naked. I cannot go. So then Baba said, then go back to your worldly duties, do your duty, and go back to your home. So that was a very interesting story Hajra Sahib used to tell us. And then he was a theist, Professor Hajra. He never believed in God. So when he heard of Baba, he started testing Baba. If he is God, then I should get this. For example, one day he asked Baba, if Baba is God, then I should get a meat of a deer, which was impossible. And meat of a deer. He was, of course, he was Bengali Brahman, but he used to eat meat, fish, and everything. And so then what happened? He has a friend, Dr. Ganguly. He went for hunting. So they got some deer and flesh. So then he came to his house and he gave it to him, and he was surprised. Then like he asked, oh, I should get this vegetable, which was rarely. So like that 150 times he went on testing. So he got scared. And he said, no, I should not test Baba like this. Anyway, then Baba called him when he came to Baba, and Baba said, I will. Actually, Baba asked him not to marry, but he married. And there was another friend, Sharmaji. Baba asked him to marry, so he remained celibate. He didn't marry. So anyway, and Baba called him at Guru Prasad and said, I will pulverize your body. I will crush you. And I have seen his ending at very frail, means I used to see him as so frail, and he has all diseases, blood pressure and all kind of problems, tachycardia and medication. And we used to think that tomorrow he will die like that. For 30 years he pulled on. And then at the end, he came and stayed at Mehrabad. So he became so frail. I think he wanted to die at Mehrabad. And but he stayed there for 15 days, 20 days like that. But Baba didn't allow him to die here. He went back. Then finally he got cured. He went back to Jabalpur, and then there he died. So he has written books like Memoirs of a Zetetic with Keith Gunn. Keith Gunn used to come stay with him, and he really took good care of him. I really salute the man, Keith Gunn. And he was very friendly with him, used to take care of him. And yeah, very, very touching. There are many stories of Professor Hajarao, but very jolly. We miss him very much. So friendly, so lovely soul. And we really enjoyed him. And he brought so many people into Baba contact, his neighbors. And so really Baba, he did a lot of Baba work, and amazing. I traveled with him also to Baba programs and many places. It
There you
was
go.
really fun.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank you so much. It was
Vijayji.
like wonderful.
Yeah.
And when you were talking, could visualize Baba.
Yeah. Yeah.
His
So
moments. Thank you
beautiful.
so much.
Thank you so much, Vijay.
I have some problem in talking also, because involuntary movement I have. I had an accident when I was in Hyderabad, and actually I was praying to Baba for my transfer from. I was in defense service, so I was very means earnestly praying to Baba get me transferred to Pune. There is also a big defense establishment, and it was not possible at all to get that transfer. And but one day what happened, I in the workshop, I means that it's a huge big factory, tank, they produce tanks, and I fell into the pit 25 feet deep, and almost I died. But I was saved, Plank. When I came out, they got me out, and they put me in the hospital. They took me to hospital, and then I had neurological problem, and there was no hospital in Hyderabad for a specialist, neurological specialist. So I used to come to Pune Command Hospital, and because of that, I tried my transfer, and that way I got my transfer. And so miraculously, the things have allowed me to come here.
Such a miracle, Jai Baba Vijayji. We're
Yeah,
so
thank you.
so delighted to hear your stories and your singing, and we would love to schedule you again, maybe even once every month. I mean, you have so much to share. We enjoy so much.
Thank you, thank you, and I enjoyed talking. I enjoyed, Angela, your program very much. I
So
enjoy
wonderful.
morning artis and evening artis. Connects me to the Myrtle Beach, and Myrtle Beach is such a miracle for me. Baba has places like Myrtle Beach, Mehrabad, and Mahoba. They are all related, means with his name. Mahoba, the Meheristana, Mahoba is the village. And so Mahoba, Meheristana, Mehrabad, Myrtle Beach, MB, Mehrabad, it's beautiful. See, only
Jai
God can
Baba,
do it.
Jai Baba. I'm so sorry to cut you short because I know you can continue to go on for another.
We could let him continue.
But we do have a Meher Jap now, if you'd like to stay. And it's just the quiet repetition of Baba's name. There's no big ceremony to it. Just Marilyn will read some quotes and we'll say Baba's name. So if that's all right, we'll hand it to